I'll reveal the secret behind the stunning oil paintings that even beginners can master. Whether you are picking up a brush for the first time or looking to refine your skills, this video will guide you step by step through easy techniques that will transform your canvas into a work of art. If you are interested, stick around. And this time we'll be painting on an MDF panel, which is 5mm thick, 120 centimeter wide and 70 centimeter height. And we have treated with homemade gesso. You can find gesso recipe on my DIY list of videos. I also show you what tools I use on the right hand box. Once in a while you can see it comes on. Just a plan of the direction of where the light comes from. The light is from the right hand side and the darker side is on the left hand side. So mind you, we need to think about that when we do all the mountains and the trees as well, tree lines, to get that shade, a little more natural look. And like I usually do, I start from the ultramarine blue on the top and titanium white underneath, mixing up the paints grey as well to get ready for the tapping up those clouds. And here I'm just finishing with the soft brush, blending brush, the surface before I start doing the clouds. And now it's ready with the tapping with the paper towel. The best paper towel is actually the industrial paper towel, not the soft domestic paper towel, because it's a little bit softer than the industrial one. And after tapping those clouds, you blend it very softly with your just hardly touching it. And here I'm just getting a new paper towel to get those highlights on the edge of the clouds. And remember, the light is coming from right hand side of the cloud. I'm gonna leave the clouds overnight to dry it out, and then we come back to it to fix it up, give us a little bit more contrast and highlights. I always add a little bit liquid original to my paint. It gives that bit of a easier brush work, plus it shortens the drying time as well. That is the one reason I don't use linseed oil, because it does makes the paint drying time longer, and I wouldn't be able to finish my painting in 3 days. I still do it in layers by layer, and one layer for first day, and then second layer second day, and the third layer I usually try to finish the whole painting. So it usually takes about 3 to 4 days. And of course, what climate you are in, like I'm in the tropics and it's very warm climate, and obviously the paint dries quicker in a warmer climate, so you gotta consider that as well. So here I'm splitting the masking tape in half to get that bit of a uneven line and put them downwards, and because the whole idea to try to get those uneven mountain lines in the distance. And I'm using paints grey for that, and titanium white, and just smearing with the palette knife. A little bit titanium white on the top of where the line is. It's like a bit of a cloud cover on distance. Just wiping off some of them little mistakes. And we start now sap green, doing the mixing up with a little bit titanium white on the sap green as well. And what I'm doing here is actually just using my palette knife, just smearing that. And once in a while I put titanium white, like you can see it here, and it just blended with sap green, and it gives that natural green feel and shades and stuff. So that's the easy way to do the fields, like you can see it here. And what happens as well, it's like a shade from the clouds, the darker color, like you can see it. And it just, without effort, it just happens. And then using your blending as well, but don't blend it too much on the top, like you can see where the colors are, just gently. And now I'm starting with a yellow ochre to give that bit of a earthy colors, the fields, and raw sienna as well, a little bit more darker. And I do exactly the same thing. I just smear it with a palette knife, just randomly give those shades on fields, and then I just blend it. And just doing the highlights on clouds, and using just the pure titanium white, no any other colors, so it gives it a nice and bright white. And focusing on the edge of the clouds, where actually the sun is hitting from the right. Well, like I said from the beginning, that we focus on that the light comes from the right sun hand side, and later on even the trees are gonna push the shade on the left hand side, so it just makes more sense. And here I'm just blending a little bit underneath the titanium white to get that fluffy looking cloud thing going on. Also adding up those little white little clouds on the top of the mountain, and using that little brush, soft brush, to just soften it up a little bit, like that, and it looks a little bit more softer for the clouds, and just randomly just on the top and softly. And again, splitting your masking tape in the middle to get that bit of a hilly shape of the front mountain. And this technique is really easy. You're just using your titanium white and make it a little bit like a little clouds on the back of the hill, and then soften it up a little bit. And obviously the underneath the paint is dry, so this is the next day you're gonna do it, and you can't do it while the paint is wet, so it's a layer by layer. It's easy to do all these effects. I'm just adding up a little bit Payne's gray, a little bit more contrast on clouds. Just mixing up a little bit ultramarine blue and just titanium white, and I'm just making that little river on the front. I was thinking about how I gonna do it, but I gotta just to get it ready for the next day, so I just painted just on the front, like you can see there here. And I'm starting mixing the olive green and rose sienna, getting ready for the front forest, what I'm designing to do with the painting. And I start the darker colors first, and then I just build it up from darker to light colors, and then light colors to even more lighter, and that's how it's sort of with the tapping motions with the paper towel. It does as long as you don't tap too hard, it doesn't it does that beautiful like the mixing colors together. So this is one technique what I use. You can leave the darker color overnight, that it's still like a base color, and then you tap it on the top. But in this time I just it's all fresh paint, so I tap it like this. You get the little fringes out as well, and a bit of a little texture. And here I'm just adding up a little bit of raw sienna because I had some paint left to get that hill or elevation effect. And here I'm just adding up a little bit more paint in the edges, and I tap it like you can see here, just to smooth it up a little bit. And then I just corrected where the masking tape has been, just to smooth it up a little bit. It looks a little bit more natural, and it's not very hard a line sort of thing. And here I'm just tapping it up and smooth it up as well. Now we start mixing up different green shades, like Daria light yellow I'm using with sap green, and also lemon yellow I'm gonna put on as well. So it's got the different greens. So that what forest is full of different green and colors and shades. So when the different greens are ready, I just smooth it up on a palette and getting ready with my crumpled paper, and I tap it up all those prints. Looks like it's a forest, leaves and shapes, and this is the quickest way to do the forest. And to start different greens, at first you usually put the darker colors first, and then you tap gently the green, yellowy colors on the top. So if you tap it too hard, it's just gonna mix up with the undercolor. So it's important to just tap gently, unless you want to get it more darker. This is a good way to do it. And just using those masking tape, and again I have ripped it in the middle and put them upwards this time, the ripped part, and then I just tap those trees with the little smaller crumpled paper, and more distance you go to them towards the mountains, then you have to get smaller and smaller. You eventually gotta use the brush to get the smaller trees. So at the moment they're still a fairly big trees because they're on the front of the painting. And then I just tap it up with your little crumpled paper. It does the job itself to get those bush or trees. And now I'm just using the angle brush to just wipe them through the tree line. And this is the tree line on the fields. So this works really well. This is one way to do it. I suppose there's so many ways to do it, but I like this way because you just focus on the tape, and then you just wipe it with your angle brush, get the shade, and just fixing up the river as well. Get that river bank, a little more shade. And some of the odd trees in the middle of the fields as well. And remember, the shade is always on the left hand side because the sun is hitting from the right. And continuing doing the distance tree lines and using the masking tape and wiping it with your angled brush. And this is the next day. Everything is now dry again, so I'm just fixing up some of the hills. I wanted to do extra hills on the front, so again this is how I do it, even the distance mountains with the forest. And we got the northern Queensland in Equatorial Cairns area. Our hills are full of forests and jungle, I suppose. So this is one technique I do it again, but I tap it with the more sort of a little bit more harder, that you get the smaller prints out of the forest sort of thing. So bigger your paper towel, crumpled paper towel is, the bigger your prints are obviously, and then the smaller the paper towel is, the crumpled paper towel makes it a little smaller print out. So this is one way to do it, and it does work. I just add a little bit more ultramarine blue to make it the green a little bit more darker. And this is gonna be on the right hand side hill because actually the sun is behind the hill, so it's gonna be a little bit darker, but I do add a little bit highlights on the top of the hill where the sun hits the top of the hill. And just use your paper towel to wipe your mistakes and the brush as well. And all my masking tape is now ready for the tree lines, and I just put them randomly, all the lines. Obviously I was thinking of where I gonna put the lines, and I just put those trees now with the little brush because they are in distance trees or bushes. So just take them out, and then you just use your angle brush underneath, wiping it gently to get that line, tree or bush line or whatever it is in the distance, and it does work. And then you just use your clean brush and push the shade underneath the trees like I did before, and then I'm just adding up a little bit more trees in the middle, and even on the bottom as well. I thought that it needs a little bit, and randomly just fixing up things, putting some more twigs and stuff. And then I'm getting ready for the little farmhouse. So I'm just using Payne's Grey a little bit, and using titanium white as well to get that greyish color, and a little bit of olive green as well. And then I start using with the masking tape as well to keep it nice and straight lines. Fine small angle brush is really good for this purpose. There is so many ways to do paintings, and just find your own way, and it's good to learn from the other painters, the different ways to do things, and then you just choose your own style. And again, if you have followed me this far with this painting, it has been a little bit longer than usual, but I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.